Good afternoon. So finally, I should now speak a little bit about science, as I promised. As I said, it wasn't an easy weekend for me. I needed a lot of willpower to continue with my efforts. I find it very difficult to master. The mental energies and the mental capacity to continue with these scientific efforts. And this is mostly because it's not new, but it's like an accumulating effect of my knowledge that whatever I do, it will mean nothing with regard to the most important thing, which is in my agenda, which is to be rescued from the Nazi prison, me and my daughters. Because only the intelligence services of the world are aware of what I do, and it's within their power to keep it that way. And they only want to eat. The fact is that they didn't hold no meaningful research of this stuff, not my own neurons, and not the T or whatever, the nanobots or whatever that you take from the Titan females. For so many decades, it is used in this way or another around the world. Mostly in Israel, but also around the world for the various clients. And it's amazing that, people didn't really... My initial assumption, if you recall, I saw it, I took it as obvious that, some kind of research was conducted, even though I saw that it was not peer-reviewed, but because it couldn't be an open research, but because of its nature. But I assume that like you see in the movies that that there are scientific it doesn't even need to be special government, shady government Area 51 scientific institution. It could be regular universities that are funded by the government and everything is usual, but the research is not open to the public as it usually is, and it's not peer reviewed. And this is very important, because it's the openness of the research and the fact that it's peer reviewed is fundamental. It's what defines modern science. But actually, what the truth. I understand. It came to my understanding that the actual truth is that you don't care. You only. For you, it's just a meal. You see it most blatantly with how the Israelis treat this stuff, which is hungry wolves. They don't care at all about nothing. They don't care about what it means, those nanobots and the biology of the Titans, what it means for the future of Earth, for the future of their own state, for the future of mankind. They don't care. For them it's the next meal. They just need they don't even think about what will happen after the next meal. For them it's just the next meal. They look at you as a bag of meat that they not just want to eat, literally, without even thinking what's going to be after that, because they are hooked on this. And even if they will eat me alive, after some time they will want more stuff. And they don't even think about that. And needless to say, so it's future of mankind, future of the state of Israel, future of the earth is totally outside of the scope of anyone in the intelligence community in Israel. And apparently it's the same in the world. They don't care. It's just a meal for them. It's amazing that that's the way it is, but that's the way it is. So, under those under this framework of of that sees you and the Titans as meals, why should they never cared to conduct any research? Not even such a rudimentary or basic research those things that I do myself now, which is so basic. And because I have no scientific knowledge and no material, and yet they didn't even do that. They didn't even do that. They don't care. They don't care at all, because it's just a meal for them. And so it's all very upsetting, and puts me in a place that I have no motivation. Like I find it difficult to marshal the required motivation to continue. Like I find it especially difficult to force myself to study electronics and physics and like I mean people whether it's like the Google algorithm or like the people that tweak the algorithm, that doesn't matter. Like I'm receiving like many videos that I mean some of them are actually very very relevant that discuss like basic like not basic but I mean relatively I mean not important and pretty basic concept of in electricity, like electronics and physics. And this could have been very helpful for me to. I mean, it could have been very helpful for you to study almost anything, because almost anything that you can study. I mean, not only in the natural science, also mythology. As I said, I mean, what I do with the neros, I mean, it's mostly outside of the realm of natural science. It's mostly like, I mean, social science, the study of communication, and I stand by this claim, and I've said it many times, and it's true. So I mean, but anything that you can study, I mean, is relevant, and for because of that, I'm actually like I'm in many ways I would say that persons like with my like kind of like profile of interest is actually very fitting for this kind of job of communicating with those nanobots. Like even though I'm not like a scientist, I am like a very my areas of interest are extremely varied, and I have like a very wide background in many like a lot of things like this characterizes me doing all my life, and that I mean I know a ton of things about like a lot of stuff, but I don't like I mean I only like venture deeply, and even that not very deeply into like I mean my profession, like which is like software engineer, but this kind of like I mean education and areas of interest is very fitting for this kind of job, because really it really requires a lot of like I mean if only one person should do it. I mean if it was like a team, then it's different stuff, but let's say that I mean part of like I mean the circumstances is that it's one person, so I mean it's actually good that will be a person that is similar to like me, that is has a lot of areas of interest, because everything seems to be relevant for this kind of like communication. It's not only physics or biology or computer science, it's everything, including social science and including the humanities. I mean, I always say that because I mean I think that many people just either don't believe it or just fail to grasp it, or like to fully understand it. They are not like microbes, and they are not nanobots like I mean you imagine in most like science fiction or popular science like publication that deal with nanobots. It's a civilization. I mean, they are a civilization. They are an alien civilization. They are extremely intelligent, and they have symbolic thought and like collective memory, and like I mean they want to speak with me, and I mean they do whatever they can, I mean to facilitate it, and it takes time, but they do whatever they can in the microscopic level to help me like ask questions. And I mean it's all visually, because I mean our way of communication is only visually, but I mean it's a lot. I mean you can do a lot of it, and they it's entire civilization. I mean, and nothing that humans can think of at least right now is outside like of the boundaries of the things that like potentially you could discuss with this civilization if only we knew how, including everything. But I will not lie. I mean, it's difficult to do it in such a poverty. I mean, I have nothing, and I can't sell anything, and I'm not going to sell anything, because it's clear to me that what's going on right now is very simple. I mean, from the point of view of the Israelis that are my captors. So obviously, I'm like in a gun, a garden. Like I mean, all the people around me are like actors, and The mission is very simple: to get the neros, to get the nanobots. It's not that complicated. They don't have like long-term missions. The long-term missions doesn't exist, do not exist in the Israeli context. It's a pack of wolves that need to get the next meal. And if they will get the next meal one way or the other, I will never be free. No one will ever get me out of here. It will be interpreted by the Israelis and also by various intelligence agencies as a success for for this pack of wolves that they managed to get in the next meal. So now so now they need to concentrate all their efforts in keeping the robot in just where he is and keeping the wolf pack just where they are, so they will get another meal out of him. That's the way they work. It's entirely anti-rational or irrational to do anything at all that will give even one nanobots to the Israelis. You need to understand that, I know these people for so long now, and I'm more Israeli than the great majority of the Israelis. I know the place, the people, the country, the history, the geography, their state of mind, more than the great majority of them. And that's the way they act. They want the next meal. And if they will get the next meal, no matter how, it doesn't really matter how, they will interpret it as success for this particular random pack of wolves. And all the effort of the Israeli Shin Bet or whatever will be to put me here forever in this place, like in this hostel for homeless people. Who is this particular pack of wolves that proves that they are successful by earning one meal, with the hope that they will get another meal one way or the other? It's entirely irrational, but that's the way Israelis act, and I cannot stand it. I want to be free. I want to get out of here. So I need to do anything I can in order for them not to get even one meal. Even if, maybe in the general, perhaps in the general, scheme of events, I wouldn't mind if they will get one cup of nanobot or something like that. I don't want them to get it for free, and I loathe the fact that, for all my life, they took it away for free. But if you if you consider all my objective and my entire agenda, that I want to get out of Israel, I want to reunite with my daughters, etc., perhaps in the context of the entire agenda, I wouldn't mind them to do a little bit of that, but because I know how they act, and because of this particular circumstance of what they do, I understand that I cannot allow it to happen, because I know how they will interpret it. They will interpret it as, okay, this team is now successful. They successfully got one meal, and that's what we wanted for them. Now, next objective is get another meal. Scrum. I've written about it in the past. That's the way the intelligence in Israel work. One sprint, okay. Next sprint, okay. So, and of course, I will never be out of here, because it was proven that if I'm here with this particular group of disgusting wolves, then a meal was supplied. So okay, it's just from their perspective, it's a start. Let's continue do whatever they did, whatever random stuff that they did in order to get another meal. That's the way it is. That's why I cannot allow them to get anything, and I will continue to throw away all the robots day after day. Now, I would say that what bothers me, and as I said, I'm losing motivation, and it mostly the greatest impact is that I don't have the mental capacity to study electronics and physics, and some basic things that I need to learn, and that could have been very, very helpful with what I do, and I don't have any energy for it. I found in the past I didn't have no problem at all studying such stuff and also in the last couple of months, specifically things in issues with biology and microbiology, and it's a subject matter that I had much less actually background than physics and electronics, but I ran out of energy, because how long can you work? I'm working for years now without getting paid. I'm working full-time job for several good years now without getting paid at all, and the only money that comes from abroad is it's billions. It's billions of dollars that 100% transferred to the Nazis in Israel. And how much can you work, I mean, without getting paid? So yes, I'm losing my motivation. But again, I cannot allow myself to sell anything at all because it will be my doom. Like, I mean, if I sell one cup of these things, I will stay here forever. Right here, like in this hostel, surrounded by these like bullshit actors, like, I mean, random pack of bullshit actors. That's the way it's going to be. If I want to be out of here, they must not get even one meal, because that's the way they act. That's the way, I mean, the intelligence of Israel is managed, like that. They must fail entirely, like 100% failure, in order for me to get out of here. That's the way it is, and that's the way it will be. Of course, my main objective is not just to get out of here, but to get out of Israel with my daughters. But for this to happen, we need international intervention, and this will not happen with, I mean, before asteroids will start to hit Earth, or the radiation will eradicate like a large portion of the Earth. Because before that, they will only move mouses and tongues. I mean, nothing new about it, but that's the way it is. And without, I mean, millions of people like around the world that, I mean, start to like, I mean, watch the asteroids with their own eyes and watch, I mean, feel the radiation, no one will move an arm or a leg. That's the way they are. I mean, Homo sapiens are like that. It's disgusting, like, species, and that's the way it is. And all that, I mean, is very, very, I mean, discouraging. During the time that, I mean, I had all sorts of like trips in Israel and divinations, and I've listened to music that all sorts of like music. I mean, one of the songs that it's not really a song, it's like more like a musical, an instrumental piece that I've heard a lot, is the Colonel Boogie March, which is it's actually it's an old martial military song, but military music, but it is since the 1960s. It's very strongly identified with the movie A Bridge Over River Kwai. And I mean, when you search for this piece of music, it almost always comes like, I mean, it's part of the soundtrack of the Bridge Over River Kwai. And from an early age, I had like a divination regarding this movie that is somehow relevant to my life. And I've watched it several times, and I try to understand why it's relevant to my life. But it was clear to me that it's something with the movie that is very relevant to my life. And so that's why I've listened to this piece of music in the last couple of years, like in Spotify, YouTube, etc. And my current understanding is that, I mean, first of all, of course, I'm a prisoner of war, but there are many movies, that deal with prisons and concentration camps and prisoners of wars, and so it's more than that. And what I understand now, or like my current interpretation, is that like the British in this movie, and specifically their commander, I think it was Alec Guinness, the actor, like the future Obi-Wan Kenobi, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe it was another guy. So I'm destined to work very hard to construct something that is really, beneficial and hopefully as rigorously made as possible, like with attention to details, and like even I would say passion, which is completely atypical for like projects that are carried on by prisoners of wars. But even they developed some kind of a passion for it. But certainly, duty and responsibility, and they wanted it to be the best way. The best, like to build the bridge in the best possible way, even to the amusement of the Japanese. The utter surprise of the Japanese commander, and while at the same time, their own people, planned a mission that it was aimed to destroy it completely, and actually that's how it ended. Like and that they destroyed it completely, their own people, and it's a difficult position, but I understand this position because one of the reasons that I understand this position is that because I've seen this movie several times, and the first time was actually at a very early age with my father, but after that some additional times like as a grown up, and it's paradoxical and it's difficult to explain this kind of mental position, and that I think that's what makes this movie interesting. Actually, I think it's a very interesting movie, and I mean for me specifically, but also in general, it's had like an everlasting effect because it's among other things, it portrays in a dramatic way a state of mind which is, I would say, atypical and even perhaps a little bit crazy, but under the circumstances it looks very justified and it makes a lot of sense. Of people that that are occupied to and with all their hearts and like all their like physical capabilities and also like mental capabilities and engineering efforts and even scientific efforts to construct something in the best possible way that even like impresses like the very like incredibly harsh like Japanese commanders and specifically the high commander, and while they know, and at a certain point they know, but they can even deduce, without knowing they could have deduced that and maybe they did, I don't remember that, that the British command, like at the same time as is like taking such an effort, like to run like a command operation that will destroy it completely, and that's actually how it ends. They destroyed it completely, and I understand it, and I live like that for quite a while now, but it's mostly manifested in what you see right now, like in the last couple of days, like you see me throwing like the nanobots out, like it's not fake, it's not like Photoshop or whatever, it's real. I like the last couple of days, each day, like each morning or noon, I throw it out the window or to the cats like a ton of these nanobots that they could have saved like thousands of lives. This is real. It's not. I didn't fake it. I've done whatever I can to show you that, to prove it to you that it's what it is, and it is what it is. I do whatever I can to cook those Neos at the best possible ways, and I always try to think about like how to do it better, and I will even speak about it like right now. But like of my new ideas on the matter and like future like research directions, but at the same time I'm tell you that my plan is to do it every day and like to throw it, to destroy the bridge over River Kwai every day, and because I have to, because I will never be free otherwise. I will never be free if I will not do it. If this comes to the hands of the Israelis or their clients, it doesn't even matter, but it will come. It doesn't really matter. If this, gets to the hand of various intelligence agencies, I will never be free, and my daughters will never be free. We will never be rescued, and I will be left to rot here in this specific place forever. And that's a fact. This is the fact of my life. Denying this fact is denying the circumstances of my life. And most importantly, it's like denying like what circumstances led me to where I am. And don't you understand that this is completely, do I look like it, and do I sound like, maybe you don't know me, okay? Even though it's not difficult to get to know me, like to know my story, because I was never a secretive person, but just by the way that I speak, like let's say that you don't have any information regarding my life, and you don't want to have any to ask nobody. You just have like the way that I speak to you for the last couple of months, even though I speak for years now. But let's say just in this YouTube channel, do you think that this person fits the like his circumstances, like being completely poor and penniless and in a hostel for homeless and like under arrest, and is that how you picture this person? Like the answer is no, and no one that I ever knew thought that I will get to this place, and least of all myself, because that was not the trajectory of my life since never. And I mean, it was never like it's ridiculous that it went that way, but it went that way not because I lost my mind, or because I can't handle money, or because I had else episode, or because of like God's irony, or whatever. It was a plan. It was planned and executed by the Israeli state. They planned it and they executed it. They wanted it to be exactly what it is, because this is a Nazi prison and they want everything. They will not be satisfied with 99%. They want 100%, and also I should let them rape me. Nothing is enough for them. I need to eat from charity or from the garbage. I need to be the poorest person alive. I need to be detached from my daughters, and I need to be the whore. Needless to say, they need to get all the nanobots. That was their plan. It was a plan, an evil plan that was executed by agents of the Israeli state. And that's why I'm here, in very atypical like place to be, and you can understand it just by listening to me. Just by, that's the way it is, and it's a simple truth. So, in order to get out of here, it is imperative that I will get none of it. And if I need to throw out of the window a pot or a glass that, could have saved the lives of thousands, no problem at all. I've said it many times. The lives of Homo sapiens are not more important than my life or the lives of my daughters. So yes, it's a bridge over river Kwai situation. I throw out of the window, this precious material that I like, and at the same time, I plan like how to like create the next batch for tomorrow in a better way, which will be even more rigorous and more scientific and more like engineering-wise correct. So let's speak about like science now, as I promised, but I'll do it in another video because I want videos not to be too long.